Right, morning guys. Something a little bit different from me here, already on the bank. I've got 20 minutes till I start, just at the Floatfish Open today. I thought it'd just be good to have a quick run through our setup. I've had a lot of people messaging me about how to fish floatfish in two islands, so kill two birds with one stone. Now I'll turn you around. I've drawn peg 10 today, the wind's going the other way. It's not where I would have picked, but I'll just spin you around. You might see him on the photo. It's quite a narrow peg. There's a couple out there now on the shallow line, and I do think I'll catch a few shallow. I've still got a ripple here, even though the wind's the other way. It's every peg down there, but at this end we've got every other peg, which does help with your short and your margin fishing. Lovely margin, just on a top 4. I'd like to go a top 5, but it's taking me further away from the bank because it comes round. So it's just going to be, I won't get my pole, but it's just where them little bits of root are, just sort of there. I've just trimmed the grass a little bit just so I can see me float all right. It gets me tight into the bank. It's 2.5 foot. It's lovely, really fancy that. Going on to basic approaches here, like covering it for everyone. Always like to start short. I start on a top 5 with a nice heavy rig. It's literally a full top kit. Look, you can see it. 418 wire float, nice short line, so I could just lay it straight on because it's still sloping away a lot. You need to be really accurate here because it just slopes away up to about 11 meters into really deep water. See, I've got 81 inches. It's deep. It's nearly 7 footish. Just on a top 5, I've just got that bit of reflection, dark water to fish in. It's a lovely place to aim for. I'm going to start there, just fishing an 8mm catalyst on the hook, throwing a few 6mm, fish up for as long as I can. That would always be my basic approach on it. Then I think it's going to be shallow. The 3 rigs, as I said, 4 foot, 2 foot and a foot. I'd always set them up on here, again just pinging 6mm. Want to fish it at 14 meters if I can. With this wind, it is it's windier than it looks. Might be 13 meters. Other rigs are set up. I've got another rig for that top 5 line, and that deep water for fishing meat. It's a 414, not a carbon. Vulcan 2 droppers. They're all on heavy gear. 18 to 20 slick, 020 straight through. That's got a 14 excess spade on it for fishing 8mm meat. That could be the one if it gets good, which it can do. I have a 416 wire stem float up. This is for fishing a top 4. Just bring it back if there's too many there because it is deep, and that puts me in about 4 foot of water. Only difference on this one is I use the 20 to 22 slick, because if they come in there, they're generally very big fish and you're going to catch them really quickly. Doesn't always work. Flat calm days that rig's rubbish, but I've had days when it's brilliant. And then an edge rig, just a 0.4. The edge rigs, as I've talked through. The only other thing I've set up is a feeder rod. It's a 10 foot commercial feeder, and 40, even though it's not a big chuck, 45 gram large feeder, because it's really steep shelf. It's only inches deep over there against the mud. Really good peg for the feeder, this one, actually, because it's not so wide. You can actually ping 8mm over it, so I'm going to really attack that. You can see tails out the water the last 2 hours sometimes. I'm going to try and own that bit of this side of the island. Probably be looking to put sort of 8 pints of 8mm in. Really aggressive with it. You won't get many on it early on, and there'll be small fish, but if you keep at it, it can be like a second margin line for you. The last 2 hours can be really good. So that is my basic approach to fishing two islands. I'll just step up. If I was on the wider pegs down there or the open water just here, shallow would come into play even more, and because you've got no island, they seem to back away because they've got nothing to stop them going out. And the waggler and the bomb can play a part. It's very deep out there, but you do still catch a few on the bomb underneath your waggler, and that is in pretty much all of two islands summed up. That is the way I'd go about fishing it in the summer. Just running through, here's the setup we went through the other day to show you it with some bait and stuff on the chain. My top kits, look, rod, Some spare bait here, some extra casters. They were in a 5-pint bag, so there's a few more there. Double rollers. I actually set up 2 poles here. I've got my main MTX4 at 14.5 metres for slapping, and I just have the top 2 bits of my margin pole here. Not that the MTX the 4 won't handle it, but I am fishing heavy elastics with not a lot of pole, and you do strike hard. You do. Everyone seems to do it fishing short, because you're so close to float. You do get a good whack, and then big fish tear off. I just like the reassurance of my strong pole. Finally, bait choices. 6mm catalyst for throwing short on the pole early and for fishing shallow. 8mm, like I say, I'm going to be pinging them across to the island. Meat, there's 4 tins there. That was in 1 bag. I've got another couple of bags in my call bag. You can be really aggressive with it here at times. I'm not saying you need to just hoof it in all the time, but it's worth having it with you. If I don't use it, it goes in the freezer. Casters for big potting down the edge. It's been really good on here the last few weeks, and just fishing a worm over it. I've got some micros and mixed in some betaine just to make them really sticky, for chucking across on the feeder. Feeder a 2-inch hook length. That's really important to this island on here. You foul hook a lot. There's so many come in your peg at times on it, and then just like 2 pints of hemp. That's spotted fin, do it in the 600-gram bags, and it fills a 2-pint box. Should just get away with 1. I've got another couple in my bag, but it's only really to start the swim off, and then it's loose feeding over it. Other bait, some 6mm red pellets, spotted fin krills. They're for slapping, like 2 and 3 foot deep. The foot deep I prefer an 8mm, because you normally just slap him with that and it makes a bit more noise. And then some wafters for the feeder, just to go to. These are, I think, the Miracle Berry, like the pink ones. Pink seems to be best on this lake. It's worth bearing in mind for anyone that's coming here. And that's it. Really basic approach: short, edge, shallow and feeder. There have been a lot of fish moving around here. There's just another one swelled there, so I am expecting to catch some shallow. As long as you've got the ripple, I don't think it matters if the wind's not blowing into you, as long as you've got a ripple. If it wasn't the ripple, it'd probably just be slapping a big pellet about. You do often get big fish like that though, so you're not out the running. I just found out in the festival. I'd really fancy I'd have picked 34 down the far end. Can't really see it from here. Let me just have a wander around. Lots of keep nets with me. Not expecting to use half of them today. Yeah, I'd have liked the M pegs down there, but yeah, I think we're still in for a good day. Got half a chance here if we can catch shallow. I've caught a couple of big weights short on this peg as well, and the bomb could go silly, like the feeder bomb. So I'm really going to attack that, try and own that from the peg, like peg 8 next door on the point is a flyer. Just try and own that, and that's going to be my match. I hope that's helped for the people that are visiting 2 Islands soon, and just gives you a quick run through my approach, and I'll let you know how I get on after the match. Cheers guys.